to be talking and announcing Brysan Duvall, my man, my friend, and my fellow real estate investor partner on many deals. He's going to be co-hosting some episodes with Mike and myself on the Discount Property Investor podcast, as well as doing some of his own shows and episodes, which I think is going to be super helpful because we are at different levels in our game, respectively, and you see things differently than I do.
Definitely.
And I see things differently than you do. And it's just always good to be learning and growing. Bryson, thank you for taking me up on my ask. Hey, come join me, man. I think you have a lot of knowledge and information to share with all of our listeners and viewers and just everybody, man.
Yeah.
So
hey, man,
I love you, dude. Thank you.
You're one of my buddies,
Thanks
man.
for coming on.
We've been friends for years. So
welcome to our show.
Yeah.
Who is Duvall? But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I just wanted to thank you, man. Like I said, it's been a long time coming. Now I'm like fully into the office. So
hey, baby.
So I think it's only right. It's a natural progression to get here. I'm a fellow St. Louis real estate investor. I actually got introduced to wholesaling from this guy right here.
Did you?
Yeah.
Me?
This guy.
100%. Wow, bro.
I had never.
That's great, man.
Yeah, years ago, I saw stuff on your Facebook page. You've always been active on social media, and it got me attracted to wholesaling. And I just kind of came into the office. I started off, I think you were just like call Zillow and call Craigslist leads, post on there.
That's how I started.
And I just kind of, I don't know. I think I struggled with seeing the longevity in it at first.
It's hard because it's not an investment in your marketing.
Right.
It's an expense.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't get over the mindset of like, okay, how the hell do I like become consistent in this? How do I get to where I am like no marketing money really and making calls to actually having consistent
I know I
deals.
need a budget, but I don't have any money to put in it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And
man.
I think my first big thing, I like sent mailers one time, spent $1,200 and got like 2 calls back. And I was like, this sucks.
It sucks right away, but you're still getting calls from those mailers though.
Yeah.
So that's the longevity part of it.
Absolutely. So it's one of those things. So now, I've been full-time in wholesaling, full-time investor for going on 3 months.
I was going to say,
maybe. So I left my full-time job May 1st. And
hopefully that wasn't anything that you regret because you've done some big-ass deals recently.
Dude, no. Okay. Yeah, I mean, my last deal was like my entire salary.
Bro, I love it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, man, I'm in that stage of like going from hustler to CEO of a company,
right?
And it's a huge jump.
You made the jump.
Is. You did it. Yeah, but even that, it's like you can still be a full-time hustler.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Because you started doing real estate full-time doesn't mean you reduced your hour work.
Not at all.
You doubled them probably.
Literally.
But that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
It's short term.
Guess who's the boss?
Right. I can live with that in the short term.
Guess who's the boss?
Right.
And man, I see you hustling.
Yeah, bro.
Talk about somebody that's hustling, guys. I'll be up here at 10 o'clock at night, like just to drop something off, and Bryson's like hitting the phones, dude.
Yep.
Hustling.
Yeah, man.
So that's, man, I'm happy. This is great.
It's a 12-hour grind for sure, pretty much every day.
Let's back up, bro.
Yeah.
So this is cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. You've been doing this for 3 years, not full time, but you've been doing deals. How many deals have you done at this point?
I want to say it's a good question. I'd probably say in 3 years, maybe a little bit over 30.
30 deals, dude. That's great, man. That's like 1 a month almost.
Right. So
that's amazing.
So some of those,
and you were part-time for 3 whole years. If you were listening and watching and you don't think that this is for you because you don't have full-time time, that's wrong, people.
Absolutely.
You did 30 deals part-time.
Right.
Ish before you jumped in. That boom.
And I really just think it's a lot of that was possible because I was plugged into you and resources and other people that knew things. And I could just say, hey, like I need help with this. I'm kind of struggling through it. And we just get deals to close because I had limited time. I was full-time. I think I was working pretty much full-time and going to school full-time at the time I started this. Not to mention, I didn't even have a license when,
Right?
when I first did that first
I
deal.
remember, man. I remember.
I think the first walkthrough, like we did, I think my mom dropped me off to like your house. Yeah, your house. We went to that appointment out in South County or Fenton or whatever it was. And you were rehabbing
That was your
the
first
house.
one, or
that was
what?
the first appointment
Okay.
that I went on. Yeah.
That's a big step.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, there's big steps in this business.
Yeah,
starting to do marketing, running that first appointment, making that first offer, leaving that first closing,
all of that. It's
man,
such a
all
progression
those things
of
are like such like wow.
Yeah, I remember. I think the first check I got was I called a guy on Craigslist that had like a terrible ad for a house with no pictures, and I'm like, this guy probably wanted like $10K for the property. And I remember vividly, I was at my dad's office working for him, and I called you up like, bro, can you meet this guy? Or like, I don't really know. He says the properties, I think it was like a Jennings property, something like that. And you called me up, and you're like, I think 2 hours later, you're like, yeah, I got it locked up. And then you call, I think you got it locked up for like $4K, and then like 10 days later, you're like, hey, I got a check for you, like $1,000. I was like, okay. I was like, drop it off to me, I guess.
It wasn't huge, but hey, you didn't have to do much, right?
Not at all. I didn't do anything to the thing, but I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. How do you do that fast? And I was like, only really, a little bit knowledgeable even about what you even did. I know you found somebody to buy the deal. That's all I knew.
So you had no real estate experience in any type of rehabbing, rentals, construction, agent, traditional, inspections, appraisals, title, none of that. Again, can you do this with no experience?
Absolutely.
Do you need full time to do it?
Nope.
No, not at all. I love this.
And it's one of those things, and like it took me a long time to really get consistent, man.
I struggle with it today.
Really, really took me. It's just it's a battle of the mind, about committing to that on a day, especially if you're not full time. Really saying if it's on a limited time, like maybe I only have 5 hours for this business, but am I going to do that every single week?
There's 168 hours in a week, guys.
Absolutely,
Bryson. I got my screen report. You know how the phone sends you the reports, dude?
Yeah.
Last week, and take it. This is gonna make me sound like a crackhead for my phone,
right?
But
it's a lot. At
least
you're working on income producing.
Check this out. I am, and I watch a lot of educational stuff. I track all my workouts, so I think that's probably recording it too.
Right.
And I watch 2 or 3 hours of Netflix or Hulu like almost every day. Like it's not
but you're up late.
It's not. I'm up late. Yeah. It's like usually from 11 to 1. I'm up really late, right? But while I'm watching stuff, I'm really doing other things. But my screen report was like 9 hours, and usually it's like 4 or 5. Jeez. So I guess it was just a lot that week. Like holy cow! It's
like, bro, it's normal. It's normal. Like every American.
Maybe not
with
that
the phone,
many,
man.
But the point is 168 hours in a week. Right. And every single person is watching some TV or just messing around with their time. An hour or two here, an hour or two there. It's not hard to pull 10 hours a week together.
I mean, 15, like you said, I make calls. You can get on a dialer while you're watching a movie.
Yes.
I mean, you're sitting on your couch.
That just joined the program yesterday or last week, actually. Talked to him last night. He's a firefighter.
Right.
And he's like, I want to make cold calls while I'm not working. Mm-hmm. But while I'm in the firehouse, I'd like to be texting because if I don't respond right away, not the end of the world.
Absolutely.
And I was like, bro, you're going to be doing deals in 3 to 5 weeks. I'm confident because you're going to do what matters. You're not just going to say, Dave, send me the book.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. Now what? Take the course. Now what? It's like step for the next thing. So do the first step in the process, right?
For the beginners, it's just so much consumption of content. You know what I mean? We have to learn. We have to know what we're doing to some degrry. Right. Like, I'm not trying to say you can't.
And I'm not saying nothing negative about that student. I'm so happy.
Nothing. Right.
Here's why. I was doing this with Mike earlier. He goes on the call. He said, I've been looking at programs and reading books and courses for like 2 years now. I go, whoa. Yeah, I did that for 3 months.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Right.
He just done it for 2 years now. And I goes, have you done any deals yet? And he's like, nope. And I was like, okay. How many? And this is the simplest thing, bro. I said, how many offers did you send today? None. I go, how about
That's
this?
what it comes
How about
down
this
to,
week?
man. Yeah.
How about this month? I go, let's take a big picture. 2020. How many offers did you send in 2020? I'm probably about 600 at this point. Zero.
Yeah,
and I go, I'm not
5
rubbing
offers today.
I'm not rubbing it in, but this is why you hired me, is to get you into deals.
For sure.
So what are you not doing? And that's the thing. So we're going to start there.
Absolutely.
Marketing wasn't his problem. It wasn't talking to people, running. He had done all that. He had done marketing and ran appointments. But I was like, did you make offers on those properties that you ran appointments on?
That's really common, though.
Isn't that, man?
It's really common. I know
so
people. I was
common.
talking to a buddy of mine who's in the business.
Analysis paralysis?
And yeah, they have some leads coming in, and I'm like, so if you consider it a lead, how is there no offer made?
Wow.
You know,
wow.
like, you know,
Wow.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are we doing here? You know, I remember you would say the same thing over and over to me. Like, okay, like, how many offers did you make today? You talk to that many people. How many offers did you make?
Right.
It's like, we don't have offers. We don't have inventory. We can't call ourselves a wholesaler.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just simple as that. So, yeah, man, it's one of those things where I had to just become consistent. I honestly really don't feel like I was even that consistent until this year.
Probably the most consistent over the last 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're full time.
I got to the point where I was like, yo, like I can't be at this job any longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'd get off of work starting in like March or February. I'd get off of work. You know, everybody would leave the office at like 3:30. They got there early and they left early. So I'd finish up my work before 4 and I'd cold call for 3 hours.
Nice.
You know, 5 days a week.
You hear this, guys?
Like,
3 hours, 5 days a week. It's grit.
It sucks.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
But now you don't have a boss. You made more, and I'm not trying to say this in a negative way. This is a freaking amazing accomplishment, bro. You made more on this last deal than that entire salary.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Call it. Who gives a shit if it's over or under? It was the same. It's the number, right? That's huge. That's the point.
Yeah.
So that's just amazing. I love it, man. And I am really, really, really happy and grateful to have you come join Mike and myself, where I can do episodes with you. You and Mike can do them together. You do them by yourself, all the above. Again, I think you have a great perspective of somebody that put in that grit, did it part-time, guys, for 3 years, essentially, did 30 deals. Like, this business is not, I like to put it this way. It's incredibly simple, but it's not easy.
Not at all.
It requires a lot of work or a lot of money. You don't have to do any work if you're willing to put out $3,000 a month in marketing.
Very true.
You don't have to do. I mean, you still have to do work in terms of answering or hiring somebody to answer.
Right.
Run the appointments or hire someone to. I mean, you can fully automate and virtualize it if you want. Yeah. But you're going to be giving a lot of your pie away. In some cases, maybe 80 or 90% of it.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense, right? But you get that point. So, who is Bryson Duvall? Let's go there. And then I want you to basically, because since this is the first time that we're doing this together, I want you to address the audience, the listeners and the viewers, and basically put together, and this is on the fly, you're not prepared for this, but put together a simple how to get started in a wholesaling real estate plan.
For sure.
So,
so like I said, I'm a St. Louis guy, just like Dave. You know,
how old are you?
28.
28.
Yeah, 28. So
started at 25.
Yeah,
I'm good at
25.
math. 28 minus 3.
Right. So yeah, man, I was a person that I never really saw myself being in corporate America. I never really wanted a traditional job. You know, I pretty much only job I really liked was when I worked at the golf course.
Me too, bro.
Because I played free golf, and
I did that whenever I was in college and whatnot. And man,
only thing I enjoyed.
5:30 in the morning, though.
Sometimes
you have to sleep there if you go out late.
Yep.
Just drive to the lot. But it was a fun job.
Right.
Yeah. Love that.
So I just, you know, it made sense for me is you know, my father, you know, he's owned property. So I was always attracted. I knew I would have some type of, you know, whether it was flips,
landlording, you're saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
Commercial, single family,
just residential. Yeah.
Rentals.
So just rentals.
Perfect. So you've been in the game. You've done turns.
I mean,
maybe not.
I've been there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've never done like when I say my work for him has been minimal. Sometimes it's going to a property, helping him do something, meeting.
I was gonna say when you were a kid though, you probably had to like go with him and like pick up sticks and like just do like the monotonous shit.
I mean, my dad's always kind of hired.
Okay,
my dad's not gonna do that.
Okay, just checking. Yeah,
but he is. They are hands-on landlords.
Cool.
You know what I mean? They are.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they're landlords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But not the type of landlord that I would be.
With
all due respect, I want to be the landlord that you're kind of landlord you are, hands off.
Hands off. Right.
But so I mean, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, whether that was with good things or bad things. So I had definitely a lot of struggles growing up. Personal issues. Got in some trouble at an early age.
Who hasn't though, bro?
Yeah, so it kind of like,
normal.
and I think that kind of derailed my mindset a little bit. And I think I got to a place where I then was going through so many like personal development issues that it limited my mindset, and it impacted how I felt about wholesaling. It impacted how the confidence that I had in myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean, and my own self-esteem and things like that. So I think that's a huge precursor. A lot of us. To be successful in entrepreneurship, it's like it requires some personal development. Man.
It does, man. It's all mindset. Everything is really, man. Everything.
It's the foundation, man. Like for you to, if you don't have that type of personal development, that type of confidence, self-esteem, it's like you're not going to cold call for 3 hours a day.
No.
Without giving up.
Without giving up.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So being attached to a vision, being committed to something that took time. And I didn't have it when I had my first deals. I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. Over those 3 years, I gained those tools and had that personal development happen and personal growth happen that allowed me to see some of the success that I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like I love your guys' podcast. I've always been, I love you and Mike.
It's really unscripted. We just kind of do and say what we want.
Right.
And,
absolutely. And I know you guys give great content about, getting people started, marketing, developing a plan. And I think I can give a unique perspective of where I am in the business, my journey to get there, the struggles that I'm going through now. Mm-hmm. Like right now, it's a struggle to become a CEO of a company. It's a struggle to map out the processes to delegate to someone so that when I go out of town or do something, I'm like, so what's the business doing?
Yeah.
I got cold callers making calls. I'm like, okay, who's making the offers then? You are
the marketer. Yeah. You are the CEO.
Bookkeeper.
You are the accountant. You're in charge of the title company, closing coordination. You are in charge of the disposition and everything, all of it. But that's the cool part. That's the beautiful thing, because otherwise you're at a job,
right?
Essentially,
and it's like that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that in the short term,
right?
But at what point does it get like, wow, like I'm just a higher paid employee now? It's like. And I'm not trying to. It's not a bad thing where I'm like, wow, that sucks. But you know what I mean.
But it does give you the freedom, though. So
yeah. I can design it.
Take up 2 months off, because I know.
Hell no.
But you could if you wanted to.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I do have the option. Right.
Yeah, you don't have to ask somebody to be able to do anything really, though.
Yeah.
You're going to work harder.
Yeah.
In the short term,
for sure.
But the goal, though, is to build a business that you can either sell or that you can automate.
Absolutely.
And that's really, I think that's.
Yeah.
I think we have really good perspectives because. You don't have any VAs yet, do you?
I got 2 cold callers.
Okay, recently though.
Yeah.
Since you went full time.
Just a month. Yeah, they've been on for about going on 30 days.
I love it. So guys, we are going to see Bryson's business explode over the next 6 months to a year, maybe sooner, and see him grow and hire people and listen to the struggles that he's having with the hiring processes and the softwares and what he's doing is going to be great.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to learn a ton.
Yeah.
You're already in the game
doing
deals. Yeah, not undermining you by any means. I'm happy to be able to get an inside view. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Because I don't think for me it looks like when you're looking for a podcast, you're looking for things, it's like it's either somebody that's already like there. You know what I mean? And they're having a lot of times.
You know, most of the time.
Yeah. Well, where somebody's like, I'm the host of a podcast. I've been killing it for years. I got this business, and that's awesome. Maybe they didn't start the podcast.
Sure.
You know, a lot of times, like, I haven't gotten on a podcast where I'm like, oh, this is like a real time, like, experience. You know what I mean? Like, wow, this is what they're going through today.
Right.
You know what I mean? What is happening in my business today that it's not all that common to see, I think. So I'm really excited for it, you know, to be a part of this, you know, build a brand for myself, obviously, you know, build the following, just provide as much value as I can while I'm here.
That's the goal. And that's easy, man.
Yeah.
It reciprocates.
Yeah.
By all means. And the goal for me when we turn this camera on and start or record is to just provide value. We don't hold anything back. We screw up. I've lost money on 2 deals.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's only been 2.
For sure.
The first one was like 8 or 9 grand. The second one was like 15.
Yeah.
And those were both rehabs.
Yeah.
It happens.
Jesus.
Yeah. Never lost money on a rental. I've never lost money on a wholesale because that's kind of impossible.
Really,
but that's a great reason why you can't lose money on it.
That's the best thing about wholesaling.
Right.
Leave money on the table all the time.
That happens.
Yeah.
Right.
That's about 50K.
But we don't hold back.
We
tell it like it is, man. So I love it. Bryson, I'm so happy to introduce you to the world.
Yeah.
And being one of the co-hosts of our show.
Yeah. Get a starter plan. That's what we're
I want to touch about the starter plan. So from your perspective, right, what would you say? You know, a lot of our listeners, audience, viewers, so on and so forth, they haven't done that deal yet.
Right.
And they're from a week to 2 years into watching, thinking that they need to learn something. Earlier today, we were just talking about this. Hey, what's the cheat code?
Bro.
Bryson, I want you to give the cheat code to everybody. Maybe it's the lack of a cheat code, but the cheat code. So take it away.
I actually, you remind me, I was actually outside, like, I think last Friday, and I recorded a video and I didn't even post it. Like, it's like in my phone. I was just like thinking about this same topic. And I feel like there's so many people, and I started to realize because people would DM me, you know, and I still think it's like awesome. Like, people DM me for advice on real estate. I'm like,
it's cool.
What?
I get it
you know
all the time.
I mean? Yeah.
But I'm always like, man, I'm honored.
Yeah,
exactly. You were listening or watching. What can I do to help you? And really, my goal is just speed it up. Yeah. I can't always walk them through that door, but I can show it to them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to accelerate it.
That's the point.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So people, you know, will contact me like, hey, do you mentor? How much do you charge? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I haven't thought about it.
I'm like, nothing, but I can answer a couple questions right now. What do you got?
You have value to be able to coach.
That's what I
started. You have had that for a long time. But
so, you know, for as far as, going back to the cheat code, it's like as beginners, we consume content. We go from influencer to influencer, guru to guru, kind of just trying to find like a cheat code that works for us, you know, or just something that we haven't heard.
I know
from
about the
them.
Marketing.
Right.
I have a contract that I got off of Dave's free course at freewholesalecourse.com.
Right.
I got this contract. I have the MAO calculator that I got off of 47 other websites, including Free Wholesale Course. But I just feel like I need to know more about building my buyers list. I mean, I get this every day, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I'm like,
good deals find buyers,
it's
man.
a great question.
Yeah.
But you work it backwards.
Yeah.
How does a wholesale work? Market, make offer, market the property or the offer, find the buyer, close.
Right.
Work it backwards.
For sure.
People that's so simple. Work it backwards.
Right.
Right? You close because you found a cash buyer, because you had inventory to sell them.
Right.
So if you don't make offers, nothing beyond that matters. And if you aren't marketing, nothing beyond that. So don't worry about step 7 or 11.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't do 2, you can't even have the opportunity
absolutely
to do 3 or 4. So
then the offers, it's like, I think people are scared to make offers because of their lack of knowledge on the numbers, the market, or what a deal is, all that combined. But it's like, we've all made bad offers and we got things under contract that we couldn't sell. That's part of the failure of being a wholesaler.
Do it every week.
You're like, oh shit, this isn't going to work. Actually.
But guess what? The market helps because they tell you what it's worth.
Absolutely.
And if there's a spread there, everybody wins.
Right.
Right. And if there's not a spread, well, then you now can go back to the seller and say, listen, I overestimated the value. I underestimated the repairs, or I found other physical evidence that changes things.
Right.
And
leverage your buyer.
Leverage
the buyer. The buyer, if they
sets
say
the price.
Exactly. So whatever feedback they give me on the deal, I just tell the seller.
I
say, hey, this is what
Facebook
my
a couple
partner.
weeks ago. I think it was Donnelly that said it.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Don't quote me on that. Brad's a good buddy of ours. But he said the buyer sets the price 100% of the time in a real estate transaction.
Every single time.
No matter what, because they don't have to show up at the end of the day.
Not at all.
And they can say,
Yeah, they can walk from the deal.
They can walk.
That's the power.
That's the power.
I mean.
So here's another thing. It's very difficult to force somebody to buy. But it's actually really easy to force somebody to sell.
Yeah, if you're talking legally, for
because
sure.
you can tie up
right.
to where they can't do anything else.
Totally.
But try to sue somebody because they didn't buy. You're not getting anywhere with that.
It'll cost you more to do that.
It costs, right, and time and and you're going to make enemies. And I don't suggest doing it either one.
Right.
But right.
So it's a thing about just making offers. But as far as back to the cheat code, man. Like at the end of the day, we all know all the marketing works. All of it. You know what I mean? Some things cost more time. Some things cost more money. So that's what we're always balancing: time or money. So, if we're going to do direct mail, if you're targeted with your list, if you do enough of it, you're going to make your money back if you do it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But, some people can't stomach spending $2,000 on mailers. And you say, oh, wait, I have to spend another $2,000 on mailers.
Yeah.
I
got 37 phone calls, which is great, but I may not have got a deal.
Exactly.
And of the 37 calls, I may only have had 4, 5, 6 appointments.
Absolutely.
But what people don't realize in the beginning, though, too, is not all the people are going to call right away.
Yeah.
And most deals take 3 or 4 months, not all, of nurturing to get your offer to be justified. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
All offers are low in my eyes, every one, or else it's not a good offer.
Yeah, if it doesn't hurt, if it doesn't
but
feel
if
comfortable.
the seller interprets or sees the offer as low versus fair, it takes some time. And that's really what I think a lot of the best wholesalers are good at. A, marketing, B, making offers, but C is justifying the number to not be low. Instead, it's fair.
Yeah.
And you do so very simply by approaching the seller as, hey, this is not me versus you. I'm not trying to make you a low offer.
Right.
Instead, this
We're on
is
the same
me.
team.
This is me and you versus the market. Let's figure out what the market thinks it's worth. Let's figure out what the repairs are. I don't do this for less than 20%. The cost is 9 to 11%.
Right.
Average it at 10. 30%'s got to come off the top.
Yeah.
That's how you justify a 70% multiplier. I don't do this for less than 20%. 10% cost to sell.
And that's
what
repairs
out.
I think.
And then now check this out. So, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, and I'm not trying to steal the show. I'm not trying to steal my show.
It's a show.
But I think what ends up happening is, when you are able to justify it to say, listen, this isn't my low offer to you. This is every real estate investor in town's offer.
Right.
You may get somebody that pays more. Most people probably pay less.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm kind of aggressive with my offers sometimes, but they're still low.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. It's justifying their offer as being a fair offer. And that process takes several months in some cases.
It's just, it's impossible to say. I mean, we all get those deals where, a lot of my deals now are locked up over the phone. And, I guess I kind of moved towards that with COVID.
You've done several over the phone
I'm just
like
kind
that.
of like, especially if they're occupied. I know the rental amounts. I know that. It's like, cool. I already know where my buyers are at. We can lock it up at this price.
Mm-hmm.
Pending a walkthroughs. Half the times I don't have pictures from the seller, and I figure it out. But I always leverage that against them.
He doesn't have pictures from the seller sometimes.
But
so
it's
you're
like
sending
that
your
works
buyers
in our favor,
in,
though, because then I say, I mean, if the condition isn't how you're describing it to me right now, like if anything is, it's going to affect our agreement.
And while you're there, get me pictures so I can market that property to the next guy.
I always say that.
Love it.
So we're always looking for the cheat code in anything, man, is consistency.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
That is the cheat code that people, and that's the hard part. And that's why we call it the cheat code.
Right.
Because it's like it's what we're trying to avoid in a way.
People that are doing deals and are successful are consistent.
Yep.
And the people that aren't, so it's like it's not a secret code.
But not at all.
That's the thing. It doesn't have to be secret to be a cheat code.
Yep.
That's the cheat code. Like when I was a kid, when we were kids playing video games, they're always like, "Oh, give me the cheat code," right? It just makes it more fun. Right. Well, guess what? It gets more fun wholesaling deals when you're getting paid.
Yeah,
and you get there. You get there from the consistency. Absolutely. Man, I love it.
Absolutely.
Bryson Duvall bringing you guys some red hot fire.
Seriously, man.
I love it.
For anybody trying to get started, it's like we're always back to the time versus money thing. We always have to figure out, what can we consistently spend over a month's time? I remember you used to tell me, what can you spend not this month?
Yeah.
What can you spend for the next 6 months?
3 to 6 months out. And if it's only 600, don't throw 1,800 at your marketing because then month 2 and 3 won't work.
Not at all.
You can't do that.
Not at all. Even if it's smaller touches or say it's 200 a month, you much rather 200 a month instead of 600 over the first month.
I tell that to students that are like, I'm going to start cold calling. I go, cool. Do like 90 minutes a session.
Yeah.
Don't sit down for slow. 7 hours.
You're going to hate it even just give up right there.
By the second or third day, you're not doing it anymore.
Absolutely.
And it's better to have that consistency of 90 minutes at a time. Even if you can maybe do 2 of those in a day, great.
Right.
But don't push it because it's better to do 3 90-minute sessions than 1 full day. Because guess what happens the next week? You're like, oh, this is my routine now.
So not in it,
right?
It's less friction.
It's less friction.
Less friction
it's not like
that
so
way.
much difference.
Yeah,
well, friction is an amazing word for that.
It's when you can eliminate friction in anything that you're doing, whether it's you're already out and you do things with the kids and you take them for driving for dollars. It just fitting it into your schedule is the biggest thing. And if you don't want to do that, if you have
a newborn, they like driving. Hey, your kid's screaming, you go drive for 3 hours. You'll get like 1,000 leads.
Absolutely.
And that's going to turn into a deal.
Yeah. I mean, you can play a game. Hey, let's spot ugly houses. Whoever spots the most ugly houses.
Yeah.
It's just being creative and getting it in your schedule, and it's like a lot of people come in this and they don't have the money. You know what I mean? And it's a struggle to find the time.
I would be willing to say that, 90% of people that come in,
exactly.
they don't have 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
What would you call that? Like disposable. 1,000 a month disposable to put into a marketing campaign.
Right. And they have a job. Usually, if you're in that level of not having the disposable income, you usually have a job that takes up a lot of your time.
Absolutely.
So it's really, I think you just kind of have to come up with a budget that works for you over 3 to 6 months. I just say 6 months to really gain some traction.
You guys,
you know what I mean?
This is such great perspective.
I say 6 months, like 3 months. Yeah, that's a quarter. But if you can just stretch that out and say, hey, I'm going to commit to this to 6 months. I got 6 months to get one deal.
3 months is sometimes challenging when there's a coach involved.
Right.
I shoot for my students to get a deal somewhere between 6 weeks and 3 months. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
But
it's added accountability. You're getting quicker.
We can do it in 3. Awesome.
Right.
But I don't want to set false expectations. And the fact that you say 6 is me emphasizing that I agree with you on that.
It's and sometimes I just say that manages someone's expectations. You know what I mean? And so they're not disappointed if it doesn't happen in 3. Guess what? It may happen right after 3.
That's my point. But guess what? Yeah, absolutely. But guess what? You can cut that 3 down to 1.5 if you double the effort.
Absolutely.
And the reason we say 3 is because we're talking about people that are like dabbling. So even if they're like, dude, I did this, you did this.
Right.
I said, I'm going to go do a deal. Fuck it. Pardon my language, but like, that's it.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And then if I screw up and embarrass myself or screw it, whatever, it's going to happen. I'm going to live through it. I'm not going to die because of this. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to do it. And because of that, I did put 2, 3, 4 hours a day, every day, consistently for a month or 2 to get the deal.
Right.
You did the exact same thing. You were just saying 3 hours of cold calling. So
honestly,
that's the cheat code, guys.
That's what it is.
It's consistency.
And I think really the lowest barrier to entry and potentially the best leads that you can get the cheapest way is just driving for dollars, man.
Yeah.
Driving for dollars, calling them, driving for dollars, or texting them.
Yep.
Both are low cost for the leads and low cost for the marketing.
Right.
So it's like.
So this is cool, Bryson. Deal Machine. It's one of my favorite apps to drive for dollars. Is what I use. I've been using them for over a year. I even have 3 colors on my screen, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. 3 colors for time.
I think it's like green, yellow, and red.
Oh, I have it.
6 months, 6 months to a year, over a year, or something like that, give or take. It's really, really neat. they just dropped the cost of the skip tracing. So if you sign up and you use code Dave in this example, that's one of our codes, but use code Dave. It's simple. You get 100 skip traces. They give you 20 deal credits, and they drop the cost of the skip tracing to like 17 cents a pop. So with the 20 free deal credits, so they do a 7-day trial, and you get 20 credits, but those 20 credits equate to 100 skip traces, like 107 to be exact. How cool is that? So you can try this out for free and get 100 skip traces. If you gave me or you 100 skip traces at this point, like I'm gonna do 2 or 3 deals, bro.
I'm gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna do 2 or I mean, here's the thing: not tomorrow,
of course,
but within the next 6 months, I am going to have converted 2 or 3 of those people probably.
That's about right.
So will you?
Yeah.
On a 7-day trial. So yeah, I'm agreeing.
Yeah, man.
Deal machine, guys.
And I think if you have, because unless you're driving all the time, like you're not gonna have just a crazy amount of leads, which is good.
Yeah,
because now you can follow up with those leads.
Now you can nurture them.
Exactly.
You don't need 300, 500,000. The more, the better.
Right.
Obviously, but if you are just driving for dollars to build a list, again, let's work this backwards.
Yeah.
When are the offers being made?
What do you mean?
If you're just driving for dollars and all you do is just build a list, build a list, build a list, build a list, build a list. Again, you got to do all the processes.
Exactly.
So list building is one piece.
Yep.
Then calling those people or marketing so they call you.
Yeah.
Then the offer gets sent.
Yep.
And then from there, you now have control and you can get creative and do a bunch of other things.
Because really, it's like if you have such a limited time schedule, all that and stuff, you just need to have as many touches with that seller as possible.
Yes.
It's not about making it the most phone calls.
No.
It's about, okay, how many touches am I making with those people?
If John all of a sudden decides that he's ready to sell because he wasn't last week, is he calling me or is he calling Bryson?
Right.
Perfect example.
Because because I used to do that. I used to shoot in the dark all the time. I used to be like, I'm gonna do cold call, and then I get an idea like, wait, no, let's do this list, and I'm gonna text them, and it's like, what were you doing with the other list?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you spent
and you just went and you bought on different, but yeah.
Dude, man, you can't be a list whore, man.
No.
I'm sorry. Excuse my language.
You don't need, that's a great point though. You don't need to go buy 5, 6, 7 lists. Get one. Start with one. I mean, seriously, start with one that's like 200 or 300 people on it.
Yeah.
Or less. It could be 10. Send them a letter. Skip trace their phone number to get the phone number or the email and call them. Or spend money on marketing so they know that David or Bryson or viewer can solve their problem. So what does that look like, guys? Direct mail, bandit signs, radio, television, billboards, websites and lead pages that you may spend money to drive traffic to via ads on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, pay-per-click, Google and Bing. I mean, that's like the biggest pay-per-click platform in the world, right? So many different ways to either, but at the end of the day, Bryson, at the end of the day, you're calling them or they're calling you.
Either way.
No matter what. I think
what you put it as, you phrase it sometime, I'll never forget. I think you said we either hunt or fish.
Yeah, we hunt or fish.
Yeah.
That's it.
Either hunt or fish.
Hunting's calling them. Yeah. Fishing is saying, hey, here's my message. I'm willing to spend $30 for 300 people to see this. Or I'm willing to spend $30 to send 70 postcards to these people in this area.
Absolutely.
Or whatever the numbers are. Yeah. That was terrible math.
And if you have the money, it's like you get to design the marketing more so around the lifestyle that you want.
Correct.
If you have the money.
And if you enjoy cold calling or enjoy managing 5 cold callers, awesome.
Yeah.
I have a friend in Dallas who's like, I don't want to talk to anybody about any marketing. I just want my phone to ring.
Right.
And he spends $25,000 a month on the radio.
Boom.
So again, if you're willing to buy it,
right,
you don't have to do it. So it's time or money. Hunting or fishing, guys. Love it.
And that's one of those things where, like, until recently, man, I was so inefficient. Like, I don't mind being, I'll bang the phone for 4 hours.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love it. I hear you doing that.
So at the same time, that's awesome to have that hustle, but it's like, I had so much money in my account that was just like, bro, like, scale your business. Why are you? What are you doing?
It doesn't mean you have to go spend this, foolishly spending it, but be efficient with it.
Absolutely.
How can this help multiply my time? Or what activities am I doing that I can easily pay somebody else to do with very little training, you know,
Right.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
and even if you can make offers without prop stream, you can make offers without some of the things that I'm sure a lot of people that really don't have the money.
I didn't have MLS
for.
access like the first 6 months, dude. I used Zillow.
Right. I mean, people would. You look at Zillow and say, cool, I'm offering 60% of that.
50%.
Look at 50% of this
60%. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. Cool.
And guess what?
Doesn't
if that
matter.
number comes in too high, you know, when your buyer says, hey, you know, I'll be willing to give you 80 and my contract's at 85. Well, that just means that I need to either get him up $6,000,
right,
or I need to get or more, or the seller down $6,000 or more, and I have a deal
for sure.
And oftentimes making offers, you know, that's a lot of times people that's why they don't. I don't know what to offer. What happens if this is the best one? What happens if they sign it?
Right.
Well, then now you got some inventory, man. Let's make some money. So, you know, Kong.
Yeah, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's
I love it.
man.
Hopefully he'll see this, man.
Right.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
But that's the point, though. It's like, what happens if they sign it?
Right.
That's what you are supposed to do, right?
And you can't get an offer denied if you don't make the offer.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Like they're going to say, cool, bro.
So let's wrap up,
you know?
Bryson. Action plans, simple steps, couple things. If you are brand new, let's say you would be in your shoes a couple of months back, and you're like, hey, I've been looking at this for weeks, months, maybe years, right? And I can't go full time. I don't have $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 a month to spend on my marketing. I'm ready, Bryson. Tell me how I can go get my first deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing, like I said, you have to sit down and literally write out what you're committed to spend for those 3 to 6 months. Let's just say 3 to 6.
And you mean time or money or money?
If you had,
be honest.
You have to. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to cost you money, no matter what.
You're going to have some type of money.
Something.
People say no money. It's like, bro, come on. Now.
Well, that's the thing. You can flip houses with no money,
absolutely.
but the leads don't.
No, there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way you're going to be able to contact them unless the only time it's not going to cost you money is if you drive for dollars, write down the address. You still got to, I mean, you can use,
it's going to cost money, period.
It's going to cost money. You can use True People Search to get some phone numbers that may or may not be accurate. You know, so that's the super low cost, just time.
And we still use that on one-offs before we go to TLO or wherever else, because why not? If you get it for free.
Absolutely.
So great pro tip, truepeoplesearch.com, free skip tracing singles, one-offs, accurate probably 30 to 40% of the time. That may not seem,
if you don't have
they may not seem the best, guys, but you do 10, you're going to get people free 30 to 40, 3 to 4 out of 10 times. I mean, that's a lot of savings
for sure.
It's brand new, even for me.
Right.
At 6 years in.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, the goal of anything is to get as many leads and talk to as many people with as least amount of money and time. I think that's just that's the goal with anything. So
how though?
If you whether you're going to drive for dollars, if some people don't have all the time to drive for dollars, you know what I mean? So you can use List Source. That's a data provider. You know, you can get a list. You can do high equity. You can do absentee. You know, I think the least barrier to entry is just to drive for dollars.
I agree,
because it's like you are curating a targeted list. You see that there's some type of distress in the situation already. I don't have to guess on the situation by getting data.
Right.
You know, I mean, data. Yeah, obviously, if you get something
here's the thing
off
about data,
stream,
it's
you're getting
presumed motivation.
Absolutely.
That's all. You know, driving for dollars similar, but it's heavier weighted. I think. Right. Because if somebody is, you know, back taxes, well, maybe they're just lazy or they didn't know. I had a property because I own 70 of them that I didn't know that I didn't pay the taxes on for 2 years.
Right.
And I'm like getting people being like, dude, we're going to buy your house at the auction. I'm like, no, you're not. No. I'm like, that's not going to get out of no chance in hell. I was like, but they didn't have the right address.
Right.
So my point is that the data you buy, you are buying it because you assume or you presume that there's motivation there. When you drive for dollars, you see the motivation.
Yep.
It's not presumed.
For sure.
Maybe they don't know the gutter's hanging off the house. I give them that.
Right.
But if it's, you know, boarded up and the grass hasn't been cut in 6 months, they probably know that it looks like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the beginning, I think you stick with one market, one area, even one neighborhood.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need to be doing something crazy.
Yeah, and just one single try to call and text.
Nope.
Don't try
one
to do
or the
that.
other.
Don't mail, call, text, then have this marketing sequence of touches.
Man, I am so happy you are coming on the show to be a co-host.
You know,
this is gold.
Call the people over and over again.
This is
literally
gold.
I just or text them over and over again. Pick the cheapest text messaging service. I used to use Text Magic and different things. Maybe they're not the best and it kind of sucks. And
if you are only doing like 100 or 200, use your cell phone. You don't even need to go buy a service, guys.
Absolutely. Write it down, put it in a spreadsheet, whatever it is. You don't need a lead stacker. You don't need anything. You don't need a CR. Don't go buy Podio.
I think lead stacking is really cool,
great.
But it's time consuming to try to manage it and everything else.
Yeah.
And guess what happens when I'm trying to lead stack? Guess what I'm not doing? Making offers, bro.
Absolutely.
I think it's cool. I have it.
Right.
Don't even use it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I really do. And I fully intend over the next 20 years of my investing career to start making an effort because over time it's going to be baller. Yeah. It's going to be really awesome. But again, my interests or efforts right now is money making activities. Yeah. And
you just take action.
Making
you figure it out later.
Making offers.
That's your style. Right. I like that.
No, but I love this, man. So to get started, guys, Bryson is saying you don't need all these softwares. You don't need anything. You don't even need a phone system.
I'm using stuff right now that I don't need. I find out some.
I have like 30 of them.
I don't need every month, right?
100%.
So I just try to get as many leads in and make as many offers as possible. Even if they're not even that interested, say, great, what's your email address? Awesome. I know you're not probably interested, but I'm just going to make an offer just so you know where I stand.
Okay. So they're new. This is gold.
Right.
So Bryson says, drive for dollars, make calls, get on the phone with people. They don't know how to make an offer. They don't have any software like PropStream or MLS Access. Literally. How can they do this with a Zestimate?
If you have a Zestimate, you don't even have an MAO. You don't even really know all the repair costs like that. I'm saying just 50.
50. Me too.
Because we're talking about Zestimate.
Because this is what usually happens, guys. We actually use a formula called the MAO formula. And it's called maximum allowable offer. Very simply, it equals ARV times discount rate minus repairs. Discount rate's typically 0.7 or 70% because earlier we mentioned 20% profit and 10% cost of sale.
Yep.
That's a lot. Wow. Yeah. I need a drink of water after spitting that out. You know what is also that same thing is 50% of his estimate.
Same thing.
And not always. If the repairs are $100,000 versus 20 or vice versa, of course it's going to be higher or lower. I've bought 400 houses. 85% of the time it's 50 cents on the dollar. With the repairs included.
Yeah, so make it simple. Make it simple as possible.
That's the whole reason I'm bringing this up.
I remember you used to tell me I'd go walk a house and I'd get pictures and I'd like put it back when I was in your Podio and I'd like put the pictures up there and I'm like, how the hell do I estimate that? And he's like, bro, just like it needs a rehab. Say it's 20K.
Don't worry if you're wrong. You're gonna learn and get better.
Yeah, it just doesn't, or just simple square footage estimators. The rental rehab in St. Louis County or North County, cool. $10 to $15 a square foot. That's it. Let's just do that. Bam, whatever. It needs that. Okay, cool.
So this book was written right here, Bryson, on about 100 properties. This is basically 100 case studies that we bought. We renovate. I always want to say rehab because you could do either way with this one. But we would renovate it. We rent it. We refinance and repeat it. The renovation or the rehab part of this, the average one that we've done is $18,000.
Yeah.
And these houses, sometimes we buy them rented.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we don't go in and do those right away. But when they leave, we upgrade and up. And that's really the secret with this is buying at a discount. Of course. So really it should be BD. Buy at a discount, right? But then also when you're going to do your refinance, you want to make sure you're updating it too. So you got built-in spread from the equity of the discounted price, and then you increase that spread.
Money.
And that's it, man.
Yeah. It's like you said, you have to make it so easy to, and I love how because you're really a straightforward sales guy.
Try to be.
You're straightforward.
I'm not a sales guy.
I can't even say that.
I don't think that I have very good sales skills at all. However,
I can argue that. Yeah.
Okay. However, I don't give a shit about me trying to sell somebody. My goal is to make a friend.
True.
Because I look at it
but you establish trust early on.
Maybe that is sales.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean,
it is, but
right.
It's
but
not intentional.
I don't really care, if the sale's there or not. If that person, feels friendly and trusts me and likes me enough, then I want them to tell me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, you're really like, and that's the thing. Really good salesmen, especially in a service like that, we're really trying to disqualify them.
I had to try to disqualify myself.
Yeah, or yourself. That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
Like I'm not.
Listen,
yeah, I'm not the buyer.
I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess what?
I want it, but I don't need it.
I don't pay retail, and I don't need it.
Yeah, this is how I feed my family.
Bought
if you're not willing to
discount last year, Bryson,
property, yeah.
I didn't need any of them.
Right. But the big thing, I think one of the huge takeaways is to speak confidently when you're making an offer. Obviously, it's going to take time. It's going to take practice, but you have leads coming in.
Sure.
You make the offers are way. I remember when I didn't have leads, I'm like, I'm trying to make this work.
I made 4 offers this morning.
Yeah, exactly. I've sent 5.
Yeah,
Damn. It's I'm begging. It doesn't matter. I'm begging out. We got an email. You're expecting an offer. I'm sending it to you. I'm writing it. Cool. Let's do it.
Up on those offers.
Cool. If one works, that's all I need.
So people that are new, because we get a lot of that.
Yeah.
So action plan, guys. Start by driving for dollars. You don't need anything crazy. We do recommend that app, though, Deal Machine.
Yep, of course.
Guys, 100 free skip traces. Code Dave, DAVE, no brainer.
Yep.
Start there because it's simple. It's cost effective. You can skip trace 100 for free if you do it in the first 7 days. Otherwise, it's 17 cents. Right? Otherwise, if you don't want to pay the 17 cents, we mentioned True People Search.
Yep.
But once you get the number, you got to call them.
Yep.
Call them
as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Like literally,
make a friend.
If you have their numbers that day, you get the numbers. You need to be calling.
Calling right then,
because you're gonna stack up.
So
even I do that.
What do you do when you make a call?
I make a call.
Action plan.
Yeah, I make a call. I mean, it's simple. We use. I think honestly that's another thing about driving for dollars. It makes the cold call so much easier.
I've seen
You've seen the property.
Even if I don't remember the exact one, I looked at a bunch of shitty ones. I didn't put the ones that really were great.
Immediate icebreaker.
I know there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And if you tag your leads when you add, it's a really cool new feature.
Yep.
Now you can say, all right, this one had a tree problem, or this one had a roof problem.
All the problems.
Yeah, you just hit the check boxes. They had boarded up windows or chipping paint, peeling paint, so on and so forth.
So it's like you automatically have an icebreaker. It's not just like a huge list where I'm saying, hey, I'm Bryson. You know
what's really amazing?
Blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, I was by your house the other day. I mean, is the house vacant? I didn't know what the situation was.
Yeah, I'm looking to buy a couple.
Yeah, I'm buying properties right in your neighborhood. You can mention the subdivision.
If you're not comfortable saying that, guys, say my partners are constantly buying them, and my job is to find them for them.
Whatever.
Is that not the most transparent approach to wholesaling?
True.
Hey, I'm going to say it again. Take notes. My partners are looking for more properties, or they're buying the properties in this area. My job is to find them properties.
Right.
I mean, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Even whenever I'm the one writing I tell them, it's in my contract, by the way.
Yeah.
But it basically says I have the right to, or it says I am buying this for a profit, period.
Yep.
And it says I have the ability and the right and the access to bring in contractors, partners, assignees. It says it right in there that I'm going to assign my contract.
Yep.
Right? And anybody and everybody that may be necessary. So if it's in the contract, why not tell them?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to use the word wholesale. That's going to confuse them.
Right.
It's not necessary. But tell them that you are in the property finding business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't close on properties with my own money.
Yeah,
whatever you want to say. Yeah, whatever you want to say that puts some of the responsibility on someone else.
Don't let that hold you back. Okay,
Not at all.
I love it. So get on the phone, make those calls.
Yeah.
Ideally, set appointments.
Set appointment. You know, I think that's the biggest
or make
thing.
Offers. Either way, but both.
You might want, it might be a little bit easy. I don't know. It just depends on your personality.
Right.
Whether you want to go and talk to somebody in person. Some people are intimidated by that.
Absolutely.
You know, they're like, okay, I'm going in this by myself. Like nobody's
I've never bought a house before.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to estimate repairs.
Right.
Guess what? The seller doesn't know how to estimate repairs
either.
Because if they did, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Come on. Right. So this is some light bulb moments right here. They don't know how to do it either.
Not.
They typically don't know the real value of their home either.
Right.
And have they bought and sold a bunch of houses on average? No.
Especially not off market or anything like that. Like
exactly.
They don't know what
so when
doing.
you do set
these
appointments, don't think that you have to show up like a professional.
Right.
Be professional. Come on, you know that. But it's okay to show up and say, hey, I'm a new investor and I'm looking to buy some properties.
I think that's an advantage.
You could even say, and this isn't even lying, you could say, I haven't even bought one yet, but I'm gonna. And maybe yours is going to be the first one. Just be transparent.
Yeah. I think that's the advantage.
The biggest
Some
advantage.
people, if somebody is already a little bit defensive, they're like, they don't want sometimes they don't want the guy that's super confident.
You know what ends up happening when
you
that
pull
happens,
up in your
man?
Tesla to buy, I'm here to buy your house. Maybe some people are turned off. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just saying, a normal person wants to a lot of times just sell it to a normal person.
Right. And that's the thing. And you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to know, all the things and have all the bells and whistles and the sales tools and tactics that you're going to gain over time.
For sure.
That are just going to make it easier for you. But in the beginning, it's just a people person. It's a people business.
Yep.
So just walk in and just make a friend with that person. And you know what often happens, Bryson, is that I'll go to a house sometime and I'll say, hey, I'm looking to buy some more in this area. I don't need this one.
Right.
But if I can get a great price on it, I'm going to make your life super easy.
Boom.
Close quick, as is. Not my cash, but somebody else's.
Right.
It's going to be cash.
Yeah.
Right. And we can do it in 2 weeks and sometimes. Right. And that seller is like, wow, there's a lot of convenience there.
Yeah.
And they get it. They totally get it.
Absolutely. They can see the finish line right over the horizon. Let's go.
And that's it. So we're making it convenient for them. Right.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So set those appointments or make offers. Follow up. Deal Machine has a CRM now.
They do.
This isn't even like a Deal Machine sponsored episode, but we're turning it into one though, because this is the action plan. Mm-hmm. Literally, I'm asking you what you would do to start over, or if you were to coach the entire audience right now, and that's what you would do. I 100% agree. So start there. Get that app, guys. You're talking $50 a month, 30, 40, maybe $40 a month. Yep. Not only is it a place to create leads from your Driving for Dollars, you can skip trace them from there. You can mail them from there. You can create follow-ups and notes. Everything. And that's all a CRM is, guys, is it's two things, notes and tasks.
Yep.
Period. You may have a bunch of bells and whistles that can generate contracts and send them and use right signature automate your file. Great. All of that.
And not everybody needs to.
Not everybody needs all
the
that.
Deal Machine CRM. It's great if you do use it.
Right.
But for somebody who just has that, it's like, why not use that as a CRM if all your leads are coming from there?
Yes.
So it makes it easy to export to a texting platform, cold calling, whatever it is.
Or just get it right there and use your cell phone in the beginning, man. You don't need all the other software. So I'm basically saying you could start with that one, which is kind of rare, right?
50 addresses, 100 addresses,
like it, but
easy.
That's probably the easiest to get started today. So appointments, offers. We talked about this a second ago, a couple minutes ago. Holy cow, what if they sign it? So now that you've made appointments and gone on them and hopefully made some friends and you made some offers or even just sent blind offers at half the Zestimate, we're going real simple here, right?
Yeah.
And you get them accepted, then what do? What's next? How do you get paid?
We got to market the deal. We got to market it. And like, I see the value of building a buy first. I'm not trying to like completely undermine or invalidate that opinion, but it's like good deals
There's no
sell.
right or wrong answer.
It's no right. My philosophy is that good deals sell.
Me too.
So it's like we have freaking Facebook. Our Facebook group is great for selling deals.
Facebook Marketplace alone is all one would need if it's a deal.
Right.
I have never seen a home run deal on Facebook Marketplace because they get snatched up in a minute.
It's gone. It says sold.
Right. So if you have a deal, you're going to be able to sell it. You don't need that list. Now, building the list is something that I would highly suggest that everybody do.
Yeah.
Do it organically. Do it over time. Mm-hmm. Add people to the list manually in the beginning, the people that have bought from you already or that are already really active in your city or county or whatever, because it's going to make it easier. And the ability to send a text or an email, just all it does is get more eyeballs on it. But again, if it's a deal, here's the list, man, that I think people often forget, Bryce. At one point, we had like 12,000. We cut it down to like 3, which is still stupid large.
It's huge.
But check this out. When we sent it out to 12,000 people and it sold in like 30 minutes, we would have 300 people trying to get in it.
Yeah.
Or make offers or see it. And it's like, I just created 4 hours of extra work.
Yeah.
Right? So having these big lists isn't necessary. One of the wholesalers in town that I really, really, really admire is Donnelly, because his list is like, or at least it was when I talked to him last, was like 30. He's like, you don't need 3,000. And he's like, you just need the main people that are buying.
That are professional buyers.
Or people that you can work with.
Absolutely.
So the size of the list, I think, is irrelevant. I really do. If you have a deal. If you don't have a deal, the size of the list can bring more eyeballs to it to make it happen.
Right.
So let's not discount discount that.
Yeah, not at all.
But we're talking new. We're talking starter kit. We're talking get off your ass and do something.
Right.
Don't worry about the buyer's list.
And the thing is, it's like it does give you the chance to have an organic relationship with these buyers. Because I know when I was full-time, I built so much good trust with my buyers that before I had the deal under contract, they were walking the property.
That's reverse wholesaling.
You know, I'd say, hey, I'd be at work
wants,
like the only appointment is at 1 and I work. So
they want it.
And I'm like, hey, you go and check out the property.
Why do I need to be there anyway?
Yeah, but they trust me, and I know they're going to call me after. They're not going to try to go around me.
And if they do, then you're never going to work with them.
It's cool.
And no one wants that.
A place in like St. Louis, if you do that,
I've never had anyone try to go around me, nor have I tried to go around anybody. There's been situations where there's been multiple contracts on a property, and that's just every man for himself. I'm going to say that straight up. Like, you know, I'm not getting out of the way, but then at the same time, I don't expect you to get out of my way.
Yeah.
That's just like,
we got to handle it together.
That's business.
Yeah.
But I'll never try to like sidestep somebody.
Right.
And I've never had that happen to me either.
Yeah,
I honestly haven't, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
You know,
so I mean, you got to market the deal. I think Facebook is a great place. You know, if you don't, even in the beginning, it may be good to call someone like you, call someone like me.
Yep.
You know, say, hey, you know, I need help moving this deal. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no problem with joint venturing, sharing some of the profits. I mean, if you don't have to, by all means, do not share the profit with anyone.
But in the beginning, like,
so my very process,
my very first wholesale deal. Listen to this, bro. My very first wholesale deal had it was two properties on College Avenue in Jennings. It's like the main little strip right there, right? Yeah. You know, I had them under contract for $12,000 a piece. They were both had just recently been vacated, and I was marketing these properties. I can't remember what I was marketing them for. Justin Van Ripper, another guy I have a tremendous amount of respect for.
Justin a lot.
Great guy.
Yeah,
love Justin. Comes to me and says, "Hey, I got a buyer for these."
The buyers.
Don't quote me on this, but I think he said take down. And then he came to me like the next day and was like, hey, let's just split this 50-50. I got a good spread on it. And he essentially sold each deal for $24,000.
Boom.
So he made $12,000 on each deal, which means the total profit on the first wholesale deals, there was a package,
right? Maybe
the second or third, but it was in the first couple, was $24,000. He took 12, I took 12. And it was because I didn't know the value of what I had.
Right.
And he comes to me and was like, dude, this is a deal. I see it's a deal. It's a deal. It's a deal. Take it down. You know, and I was like, cool, done. We'll work together, and had that sold. And you have a deal, they sell.
Yep.
And that's just really the
Simple
point.
As that.
And you don't need a massive buyer's list or a bunch of tools. Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, local. Don't go into the 100,000.
We have really good local ones.
Local ones are
great.
great.
Ours are. We have plenty of engagement.
Some are 2,000, some are 10, but don't go for the 100,000 groups, guys, because your post isn't going to get not that type of a group.
Yeah, so much back and forth communication.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the buy sells, depending on the group. If it's a real estate group, are great for this. Right. And then Craigslist, of course, is another free tool, that you don't have to pay for.
That's what we're focusing on. You can obviously get pay for buyers list, text them, but it's like we're trying to avoid all that communication and get paid as fast as possible.
Right.
So I think Facebook, you put a good deal on there, it sells.
That's it.
You know, make sure you get earnest money down from your buyers.
And you don't you don't get the earnest money, guys, or you don't give the earnest money to the seller. The very first deal I did, Bryson, I wrote it. It was for $10 earnest money, and I gave it to him. And then I'm like, well, shit, I kind of need a receipt. So he went and made a copy of it and like signed on the thing. It was like I received it from David, and then I went to the title company like 2 or 3 weeks later, and I gave them that receipt and the thing, and then they were like looking at me like scratching their head like, what?
What's going on here?
And they're like, you deposit earnest money into an escrow account.
Absolutely.
It's they're like, did the seller have one of those? And I'm like, I don't think so. But I didn't know, and I don't care. Yeah. It makes for a funny story because it didn't stop me.
For sure.
So don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
You know, just
the details can always be figured out.
Do the simple things. Bryson, thank you
for
your time today.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to watch you grow your business and explode it. I'm excited for you to share a tremendous amount of value.
Me too, man.
With the listeners and the viewers, and hopefully maybe start coaching some of these people because you have a lot of information and value to share. So I'm grateful for you, man.
Right on, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you opening up the floor for me. Give me an opportunity.
Got
for sure.
You, bro.
We're in the office now, man.
That's right. Bryson, guys. Bryson Duvall. Check him out. There's some links below this video. or you can go to the podcast page and find out places to connect with Bryson. I think I shared his Instagram and his Facebook. And Bryson is joining us, guys. He's going to be one of the co-hosts of the Discount Property Investor Podcast.
Let's go.
Let's do it, guys. All right, guys. Signing off. Thanks for watching. Until next time.